Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing a psychic reading on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. This was requested by one of the viewers on my channel, one of my supporters, so thank you so much for suggesting this. Now, before I get started, let me just say this, that I haven't really seen much of the show. I've seen maybe one season of it, and I'm kind of familiar with some of the people, but not really, I don't know what's happened since then. I'm not caught up with the episodes, and also I won't be doing all of the housewives. I'll be like omitting some of them. I'm just keeping some of the ones that are still main characters in the Real Housewives of Atlanta right now, and then I can do a different one individually, like on Phaedra and some of the other cast members that were on there as well. So for today, I'm going to be focusing on Nene, and then Candy and Cynthia Bailey. So those are the three people that I'm going to be focusing on in this reading today. So let's get into it. So on the first slide, we have Nene Leakes. We all love Nene. Everybody loves Nene. They know who she is. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, but I believe I am. So when I get into her, I love her. First off, I feel like she has a bigger than life personality. She's very funny, very down to earth, but she can also be very blunt into your face and kind of tell you exactly, what is the deal, what's the tea, and she has no problems confronting people. I feel like her life is never dull. There's never a dull moment when I get into her soul. I feel like the way that she is on camera is the way she is off camera, and she just keeps it real. She tells people, and calls them out on their BS if they're, being that way to her. However, when I get into her soul and I focus in on her marriage with or her relationship with Greg Leakes, that's the guy that she was married once to. She divorced and then they got back together. I feel like she has worries about the relationship. I don't know. I haven't, like I said, I haven't seen the recent season, so I wouldn't know. Only you guys would know if you've seen it on TV. But then again, a lot of it is scripted, what you see on there. But I do feel like there are problems within the marriage itself or the relationship that they have right now. Whether or not she continues in this, I personally don't see that they're going to continue in that relationship. Sooner or later, within a year or two from now, there may be some separation or distance, even if it's not, publicized. It's something that's kept private, but I really feel like they're having their marital problems, or they're having issues as a couple in communication, and also, there could be some things of loyalty and trust, not trusting one another, but there is that going on. And she does have a lot of positivity in her career. I feel like there's longevity, and there's going to be other opportunities that come up apart from what she's doing now with the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think she's done some other TV, projects, and there's going to be more of that for her. I also keep hearing book, so I don't know if she's written a book before or there is a book that is coming out, but I get that there would be like a book coming out in the future. If she has one already, that's fine, but there is going to be something else that is a book that's coming out for her that she will be writing. I also feel like she is someone that is struggling with her body. She feels pretty comfortable with who she is, but there's a lot of struggles to kind of, she's having almost like what I get in the soul, almost is like a midlife crisis in many ways, where she's trying to stay kind of in a younger state of mind, trying to stay up with the youngins, and it's kind of hard for her when I process it, for her to see herself as, gaining weight, or, these are just some issues or insecurities that Nene has deep down, even though she's very confident. So I feel like there is going to be some medical procedure that she may have, within the next 2 years or less. It may be like a day in, day out, kind of like a minor cosmetic procedure to kind of stay in shape. This could be more around the body itself, but I feel like there's a certain level of danger with that as well, because being that, one, her age, she already, I feel like, has certain health conditions that maybe are not disclosed to the public. And so with that, I just feel like there's a certain level of like, it could adversely affect her. But again, ultimately, it's going to be her choice. I do feel like there's a lot of arguments centering around her and other people around her, producers, some of the girls on the show, in her personal life, in her family life. There's just a lot of tension, a lot of apprehension, a lot of where she wants to have control. Nene is this type of person that has a very masculine soul, meaning that she's very feminine, but on the outside. But the soul, we all have a duality. We have our feminine side and we have our male side. That's both for men and women. We have a duality. And with her, I feel like in a past life, her most recent past life, she was actually a man in that past life. So when she reincarnated as Nene, she is taking on more of the masculine side. So it's like she has arguments and issues with authority figures, with people that would want to have some kind of control over her. And that's just the way that she is. And that's the way she's always going to be. I just feel like as she gets older, it's going to get worse, where people, she's going to kind of like, if she's not careful, she's going to push away her sons. She's going to push away potential lovers, people that care about her, her friends. She's going to be this person that is kind of alone. And I know that she tells herself that maybe I don't need them, I don't need anyone that isn't around me. And even though she is a celebrity in many senses of the way, she has a good heart. But I feel like she's changing. And it's not so much that the fame has changed her. I feel like she just, that's the way that she is. That's the way. I feel like this is all coming like from a past life, where she didn't have control over people and situations, and in this life, now she's risen to a certain level of success. And so, she subconsciously, on the subconscious level, she kind of feels like it's okay to be the way that she is and that there's not a problem with it. But I do feel like there's been discussions between her, some of the other girls on the show, that that she has an attitude problem and that needs to be addressed. And again, this is just coming from spirit. I'm just the messenger. So I'm not, talking bad or trying to throw shade at Nene, because I adore her. I think she's larger than life. She's a good person. I don't feel like she's a bad person. It's just that there are certain things that everybody has to work in their life path. And these are just things that spirit is bringing up. Who knows? Maybe she'll listen to this and maybe she won't. But she's definitely a good person and she's a leader. I feel like in many ways, she is a leader in what she does, and in life, she is always going to be the person that people come to for advice. She is an empath, so she does feel others people's energies very strongly, and this is kind of contributes to her attitude and to her demeanor and the way that she expresses herself. Comes across kind of abrasive or kind of brushed to people, but in many ways it's that she absorbs a lot of that energy and takes it in herself. I do feel like she is kind of spiritual, and she is getting into knowing a little bit more about herself and what she wants in life. I feel like there was a period that was darker. She was very confused, wasn't very aware of what she was doing, and aligning herself with the wrong people, in the entertainment industry. And now she's kind of, really pushing away from a lot of that. But like I said, her marriage, I don't feel that is in a good position. I also feel like with Nene, what I'm getting intuitively is that, again, there's some money issues. If she's not careful, she could lead to losing a lot of money or losing out on important contracts or opportunities. So, there is a certain level of ambition, but I do feel like she just needs to be very careful with that, because there's something that's coming up for her that's very tempting. It may be like a contract, but I feel like there's a lot of a lot of red tape attached to it, things that won't be disclosed necessarily, and she needs to be careful with that. Also, I'm getting there's problems maybe with her children, within her children, the two sons. I think she has two sons, I believe. But with her children, there are some issues there that are coming, and I won't get into what they are, but I feel like that kind of steals some of her peace. And she is very family oriented. So at the end of the day, she's a mama bear to her children, and they are the most important to her. But I do feel like she will have a breakthrough with them and get through their skull. In many ways, like I said, she is someone that comes across very confident, but I do feel like in the confines of her own space, she does have these moments where she feels kind of like alone, and she kind of can see the bigger picture of what needs to be worked on with her and what she can improve upon. She's not someone that I think is like closed-minded when it comes to fixing some of the things that are wrong in her life and fixing those connections with her family that's broken. But I do feel like she is working on it, and she's building this strength. Spirit is needing her to be very strong during this 2019 for Nene is going to have a lot of tests for her. There's going to be a lot of things coming out in the tabloids, rumors, things about her, and like I said, potentially her relationship with Greg. But I also feel like there may be another man, and this is kind of um, something that I don't want to put out there, but there may be something going on already where she has turned her sights or her eyes to somebody else. So hint, hint. Remember, Ray said that on this on his show on this channel. There is something going on with Nene, so I wouldn't be surprised if there is some other man that is already piqued her interest, and whether or not she goes through with that or there's any validity to that, we will find out. But again, like I said, there are problems. There's going to be changes for her. I feel like she's going in a positive direction regardless of what is thrown at her, what obstacles that she will encounter in 2019. She will have that level of moving past those and clearing out those roadblocks, but she needs to be very honest with herself, very honest with what she wants, and not necessarily fall for the glamour of what is being presented. Because like I said, if there's some kind of legal or not legal, but like some kind of contract or something like that that is, well, yeah, it's like legally binding in many ways. That's what Spirit is saying, legally binding. She just needs to be careful with those contracts and what is coming from it, because I feel like they'll present it and be like, oh, well, we have this big opportunity for you to have this, this, and this, but then they're not going to put it in the contract what comes after that, and then she'll sign up for it. She's on there, and then it's something entirely different than what she thought. So again, but I feel like she has good people behind her that protect her when it comes to this, but it's just something to kind of watch. So we're going to go ahead and get into the next one. All right, the next one is Candy Burrus, or I hope I pronounced the last name right. I'm bad at pronouncing names, so I do apologize in advance if I got her name wrong. Beautiful lady. She is part of a musical, was part of a music, or still is rather, of a musical group, and then she's the actress, so on the show. So what I get with her, with Candy, I'm just going to refer to her as Candy because it's pronouncing her last name. I don't want to chop that up and say it wrong. But with Candy, I get she's very bubbly. She's very good personality, but she also is like Nene. She's very outspoken. And if, it takes a lot for her to get upset. When I get into her soul, it takes a lot for her to kind of get upset. She has a lot of patience, but if you do cross her, there's hell to pay. And I do feel like she will let you know exactly what's going on, what's the tea, what's the deal. But I do feel for the most part that Candy brings a lot of light into the show, into her friendships and in reality, in her friendships, and not just on the show, but her friendships and her family. She's kind of brings some spunk and some light into the family. And I feel like right now there are some issues with her. What I'm seeing is she is married to Todd Tucker, I believe. That's the name of her husband, if I'm not mistaken. If not, you can correct me down in the comment section below. But with Candy, I am seeing that there are some issues here already within the marriage itself. There could be some discussions, some arguments that are not displayed necessarily on TV, on the show, but I do feel like there are some problems right now. I do feel like she's wanting to save the marriage. She's wanting to save this relationship and really focus on it, but there's a lot of stress. I feel like she's being pulled in many different directions. The girl group that she has, that she's a part of, the show that she's a part of, her motherhood, responsibilities, or, the family responsibilities that she has. There's a lot of that that's going on with Candy, and I feel like this is, what she is really focused on right now in her life, and it's just pulling her in different directions. And ultimately, she's trying to be strong. She's trying to have that confidence and not really show these moments of reality of what's really going on. She's a real human being in many ways, and she feels, and she doesn't want people to judge her. But I feel like in many ways we will see within the next 2 to 3 years, if less, any time between here and 2 to 3 years, but I feel like it's going to be sooner than that, her relationship dissolving, eventually her marriage or relationship leading to separation. And I know I said that with Nene as well, but and it's kind of like a pattern among the women of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I see that for her, and I feel like that kind of she knows more or less in her heart that there are already changes in the marriage and the relationship, and regardless of what is put out, like I said, on the tabloids, or they photograph them at events being very happy, I feel like behind the scenes it's a totally different story. I do get that there's a lot of things that she holds on to, things that are going to be illuminated over the next year, that she may be coming out on feelings about the show, the drama that takes place behind the scenes that are not really filmed, that are off camera. I do feel like they've had some very strong arguments between her and some of the other cast members, even the producers, and just a lot of demands. And Candy is that type of person. I feel like she's very patient, but at the same time, she is feeling tired of all of this, and it's just a lot of drama. I feel like there is something in her past that is going to resurface, something that maybe is not known. This is something that is going to be coming to the light soon, and I feel like she will be talking about it. I also feel it's almost like she's having to confront her past in many ways. These could be past exes that she was with, or past people that she was involved in that come back into her life in 2019, 2020, that she will have to kind of address. There is a finality as well to some situation in her life. I feel like this is almost, it could be part of the show, where she kind of decides she wants to branch off and go into a different direction instead of going, in case the Real Housewives of Atlanta is renewed for another season, she may decide after that season, to part ways. But there is something that she's parting ways from, and I feel like it's parting ways in in her career area. There is a parting ways apart from the separation, from her marriage, or that partner that she's with, but there is something else that she's going to be moving away from, and I feel like it's going to be something that's more liberating. And when she does move away from it, there's going to be a lot of judgment against her, a lot of people that are going to be criticizing her. Like I said, she's going to be in the tabloids making headlines. There's a lot of different things, but she will come out of it victoriously. She's very strong, a fighter, and regardless of what is thrown her way, she will always come out on top, because she has that fighting spirit and that light, that guiding light from God. I feel like in many ways she is very spiritual and very connected to the God source. So she is going to be doing that, but yeah, I feel like she is going to definitely be looking more so for like peace and having like a sabbatical in many ways. She needs some time for herself to recollect her thoughts and kind of restructure what she's wanting to do over the next, couple of years. Her plans. I see a lot of business deals, and business. I don't know if she owns her own business or she like has opened up her own business like an entrepreneur, but I get businesses, investments, assets. She's very much the entrepreneur, and she's thinking about, how she can have that longevity in her finances, extending from now to, the future. And I feel like there's also real estate as well. So she may be selling some property or real estate, and there could be a move, somewhere that is needed. But I feel like when it comes down to it, she is always going to stay true to her roots. And yes, even though she is famous, and you see this larger than life personality on screen, I do feel like in her, when she's off camera and stuff, she is very much, a kind-hearted person with a big soul, and I feel like she gives a lot to people and helps people. She may not talk about it because, like I said, a lot of these celebrities, they don't really want to talk about the charities that they're involved or the money they've donated or who they've helped, because that's kind of, it's not, something that a lot of people share. It's almost like, if you're doing it, you're doing it for a reason. If you're sharing it online, with what you're doing privately, it's almost like you are kind of bragging about it or trying to kind of make a point, that you are this benevolent person. I just feel like she's not like that. So again, there also is something about a cancer scare. I don't know if this is someone close to her or even herself, but she should, definitely be getting her yearly exams completely. but I keep hearing cancer scare, cancer. So there, if it's not her that this is for, it's somebody close to her, that there is like a potential cancer scare. But I do feel like, again, this is going to be something that comes out into the light over the next year to 2 years, if not sooner. But again, this is something to really watch. I do feel like she does also have some health issues. I do feel like, even though they are celebrities, they're not immune to, diseases or to being sick from their immune system, etc. So these are just things that, she needs to watch. And I think for the most part, she does take care of herself. But again, this is just something that's coming in from spirit. So this is what I see for Candy. All right, and the last one that I'll be doing today is Cynthia Bailey. Very beautiful woman. Again, they're all beautiful, all the ladies of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. When I get into Cynthia's soul, what I get immediately is there's a lot of pain. She's, again, someone that is very strong-willed, very outspoken, but at the same time, she has gone through a lot of personal problems, I feel like. One being the divorce from Peter Thomas, I believe. Correct me again if I'm wrong, but there was someone that she was married to, and they made it official, I believe, that she was divorced from him. And I don't know if she's seeing someone now. I feel like there may be someone that she is seeing, but I get a lot of loneliness with her, so it makes me feel almost like she may be more, recluse and kind of really trying to find, if she wants to ever be in a relationship again or married again. For her, I don't see that she'll ever remarry again. Again, I'm not God, so I don't know everything as a psychic. Only what I'm allowed to see are snippets of, what is there. But what I get from her, from my spirit guides and angels, is that Cynthia may not ever remarry again. And I feel like she has some reservations when it comes to it. I feel like there was a lot of mental abuse, maybe some physical abuse in some ways, as she's gotten older, but this would have been in her younger years. I also feel like there's a lot of family issues as well. Like, she feels very independent, but at the same time, she doesn't have a lot of people that she really trusts or that she can really kind of, say that she really is close to them. She keeps her social circle very, very small, and I feel like there's a reason for that. There's been a lot of betrayal, backstabbing with her, people, talking rumors, bringing up her past, and I feel like that's been an issue that kind of irks her in many ways. But I see, like, over the next year or so, again, she's going to be in the tabloids. A lot of scandals around her. This could be around the show, around people that just, that are involved in her business, are nosy, and are just wanting to kind of, attack her. Like, I get a lot of attacks towards her character and who she is as a person. I do feel like she's fighting, and she's going to come out on top of this. But before she does, there's a lot of judgment, a lot of rumors, a lot of it feels like Mean Girls, like when you are, that movie Mean Girls, and it's all like junior high type of trivial things. That's kind of the things, like, it's real petty. And it's among females that I get, I don't know necessarily if it's among the cast members of the show, but I feel like she has other connections as well where she lives, that are local, and I feel like they have tried to bring her down in many ways and bring her spirit down, and this affected her relationship and her love life. But I do feel like for the most part she is moving away from that. She will be entering some relationships, over the next 5 years or so. There will be at least two relationships that she's in that I'm getting from spirit, but I do feel like both of them are not going to be, long term. Again, she's going to always kind of push away the men that she would be interested in. And in some ways, I feel like she is, she's trying to really just see where she fits in life. I feel like her sense of self identity, when I get into her inner psyche, is like there may be like a midlife crisis as well, where she is like kind of thinking, well, I've done this for so long, it no longer is fulfilling for me. What can I do next? I know she did some modeling as well, or some of the, something around that. So I feel like she's going to be thinking about businesses, fashion, maybe going into fashion designing or designing some clothes, and doing, working alongside something like that that's more creative, coming out with a hairline, or some kind of products for the hair. You know, there may be something like that that she is going to be working at. And like I've said, I'm giving you more of a generality on that area because, again, there's certain things that I'm not able to divulge, but I do feel like in many ways that she is going to be working more on her business. And again, entrepreneurship. A lot of these women are like bosses, you know, they're bosses. They're female boss ladies, and I feel like that's what it boils down to. You know, they got their stuff together in many ways, and some men find it intimidating. So I feel like that's going to be an issue with Cynthia, you know, where a lot of people may find, a lot of men that come to her, you know, that may be surprised that she is not one to, you know, tolerate any foolery. She will get down to it and let them know how it is. So there is change for her coming. I feel like 2019 is going to bring some good changes for her. Not necessarily it's going to be like the best year for her, but it is going to be a year in which she kind of starts, you know, climbing up and getting off of the ground, where I feel like right now, you know, I'm figuratively speaking, that's like how she feels, I think, in many ways. She feels like she's very much down at the very bottom, you know, and people have, you know, knocked her down, but she's going to be coming back up, and I feel like there's going to be some strong changes, and there is going to be someone that she is involved in romantically through 2019. So if she's already with that person, I don't know, you know, but I'm just telling you what I see. For 2019, I definitely see some man in her life, and I do feel like there's going to be some traveling for her. I do feel like she's going to be very busy, very socially busy, but a part of her shadow self, she has to be careful, because I feel like part of her shadow self, when I talk about shadow self, that is the negative side. There's a duality also. We have a light side, and just like we have a divine feminine, divine masculine side to us, we also have a shadow self and a light self. And I feel like with her shadow self, which are the darker side of the soul, like the emotions of, you know, anger, resentment, hatred, jealousy, those kind of things are the shadow side, and that's what she's going to have to do, a lot of shadow work and kind of heal those portions of her soul that still needs it. She would benefit from Reiki, working with a spiritual person, maybe even using like a lapis lazuli crystal, kind of cleansing her energy, saging. I know a lot of people that would be tuning into this may not believe in those kind of things, but these are spiritual tools that you can use to kind of protect yourself. There's a lot of negativity in this world, and I feel like she is someone that is also very intuitive. I feel like Cynthia is very much like psychic in many ways, and she knows, even though she's made some poor decisions, you know, who hasn't? We all have made some poor decisions in life, but it's part of our life path. And when it comes to us, you know, sometimes it's hard for us to see it ourselves, and we need people, you know, to kind of, you know, tell us, you know, what is going on, or get a clearer perspective from it. So I feel like with her, she's very intuitive, and there is a certain level of protection that she has already. But again, she just needs to be careful, because I feel like there's a lot of drama, jealousy, and there is something that she's procrastinating on doing. This could be more of, like I said, a business project or something that she's wanting to do, but it will require some money or maybe some investors. And while she does have some money, I feel like she's on the fence with it. And Spirit is just saying to take a leap of faith, that you really need to go ahead, Cynthia, and do that, you know, go on to that project and do what you need to do. It's time, you know, stop procrastinating or going over this idea over and over and over in her head, because I feel like that's exactly what she's doing. She's overthinking this, and it's not really helping the situation with her. But I do feel like she's going to ultimately feel a little happy in this relationship that she's going to be in, or that is going to, you know, evolve in 2019. But again, there may be some parts of her that kind of self-sabotages the relationship. So again, this is all going to be about her. I do feel like, you know, she is going to be in the spotlight in 2019, and it's going to be good for her, and there's money, there's potential to earn money for her. But again, this is going to be all depending on her ability to kind of get out of the fear that she kind of has or holds on to and pushes ahead. So I hope that y'all enjoyed this. These were kind of mini readings. I didn't want to go too in depth to make this video so long that people would get bored, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I will be doing, if you want me to, other Housewives of Atlanta, or Housewives of Orange County. There's a different, you know, housewives. Just comment in the comment section below of anybody that you want me to do a reading on. And if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And if you would like to set up a private reading, you can go to my website. That's www.raymondguzman.net/shop. Blessings and love and light. Have an amazing day.